So let's talk about the absolute chaos happening on the cobbles right now because honestly, my head is still spinning. We've always seen Summer Spellman as this golden girl, right? She's the one with the grades, the big future, and that heavy conscience that usually keeps her on the straight and narrow. But then we hear that sound. You know the one. That cold, metallic click of handcuffs closing around her wrists. It's a sound that changes everything for character. And as she's being led away, a really dark question starts to bubble up for all of us watching at home. Is this just a massive setup that's going to ruin a young girl's life? Or has all the trauma she's dealt with finally pushed her over the edge? Was this just a huge mistake by a girl who was backed into a corner? Or are we actually watching the birth of a brand new Weatherfield villain? It's a lot to process, isn't it? The streets of Weatherfield are literally stained right now with the fallout from Theo Silverton's death. And the police? Well, they've officially made their move. This wasn't some slow-burn investigation that took months. In a twist that has basically left the entire fandom screaming at their TV screens, Summer has been charged with murder.
And it gets worse.
She's been denied bail. That means she's looking at a life behind bars before she's even had a chance to really live. This isn't your average soap opera arrest. This is the big payoff for Murder Week. Remember how the show did that? They showed us the same day 5 different times through the eyes of 5 different suspects. It was intense. But now we have to ask, did the police actually find the killer? Or did they just find the easiest target? The authorities didn't just pick Summer's name out of a hat, though. They've got evidence. There's that blood-stained brooch found at the scene. And then there's the tip-off. Someone she thought was family actually went to the cops. The evidence is piling up like a storm cloud over the garage and the funeral parlor. But if you really look at the web of lies being spun here, you start to see that the truth the police think they found might just be a very convenient lie. Why did this arrest happen now? Think about it. The police are under massive pressure. Theo Silverton was a domestic abuser. High-profile cases like that need a win, and they need it fast. Summer was an easy win. Her movements were all over the place that night. She left physical evidence behind. It's the perfect storm of circumstantial evidence meeting a girl who is usually too honest for her own good. At least, she was honest until she started to panic. And boy, did she panic. Let's really dig into the Summer Spellman paradox for a second. Her decision to try and bolt for America? That wasn't just a sign that she was guilty. To me, that looked like a total psychological collapse. We know she tried to hire Carl Webster to get rid of Theo. In her head, just thinking about doing that makes her as bad as a murderer. She was acting on a survival instinct. Think about where she grew up. She spent years living in a high-stress environment with Billy and Todd. Drama is her baseline. Deep down, Summer is probably feeling this crushing sense that this was always going to happen. She's carried the weight of her father's death for so long, and since Theo is tied to that history, this feels like a trap she can't escape. I think she actually hates herself right now. She probably feels like she deserves to be in that cell just for wanting him dead. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were enough to make you a bad person? That's exactly where Summer is, that I don't see this as just a murder mystery anymore. I see it as the death of innocence. Summer has always been the moral compass for her friends and family. By putting her in a cell, the writers are basically smashing that compass. It makes the whole Theo Silverton era feel like a poison. It didn't just kill him, it's slowly killing the spirit of everyone he ever touched. And honestly, I think the police are being incredibly lazy here. Think about the other people involved. You've got people with actual violent histories walking around free, while they lock up a girl with a clean record. It's frustrating to watch. And don't even get me started on George Shuttleworth. He claimed he was doing the right thing by calling the cops, but was it really justice? Or was it just a massive betrayal of trust hidden behind a suit and a tie? Speaking of George, why did he do it? This is a man who treats Todd like his own son. Why would he throw Summer under the bus? It all comes back to his own rigid moral code. George spends every day around death. He's a funeral director. He sees the finality of it. Maybe his need for order just became more important than his loyalty to the Grimshaws. But man, he must be feeling so alone right now. He knew this would destroy his relationship with the people he loves. He's basically become the executioner of Summer's freedom. I think this turns George into a really tragic figure. He's trying to bury the secrets of the street just like he buries the bodies. But the living don't stay buried as easily as the dead. In a place like Weatherfield, looking out for your own is the only law that really matters. George broke that law. Todd is totally right to be furious. George put a vague idea of the law over the life of a girl who has already lost everything. It feels like a power trip, honestly. He can't control death, so he's trying to control who gets punished for it. Now, we have to talk about Tyrone Dobbs. This is where things get really weird. Tyrone is supposed to be the hero.
He's the nice guy.
He had the chance to be Summer's savior. He could have given her the alibi that would keep her out of prison. But what did he do? He looked a detective in the eyes and lied. He said he didn't see anything. But we saw the flashback. We know he saw Theo alive in the window after Summer ran out. So why the lie? It's chilling. Tyrone isn't just a victim anymore. He's acting out of pure, raw terror. He's not trying to hurt Summer, but he's definitely trying to save himself. He knows that if he admits he was there, his own dark secrets might come out. There's a theory going around that is absolutely terrifying. People think Tyrone didn't just see a murder. They think he's the one who crushed Carl Webster at the garage. Can you imagine Tyrone, the lovable mechanic, actually doing something that dark? I am honestly loving this dark side of Tyrone. For years, he's just been the guy who wants a quiet life.
But now?
He's navigating this huge moral gray area, and it's the most exciting thing he's done in a decade. But letting Summer rot in a cell? That is cold. It's a level of ruthlessness we didn't know he had. It's like he thinks he has a free pass to be bad because he's been through so much. He was a victim of Carl's hit and run, so maybe in his head, he's allowed to get a little bit of revenge. It's a survival mechanism, but it's turning him into a liar. It's making him someone we don't recognize anymore. And that's the thing about trauma. It doesn't just hurt you, it can turn you into the very thing you hate. Then we have Christina Boyd. She's been in the background for a while, but those ANPR logs, they don't lie. She said she was one place, but the cameras caught her car somewhere else entirely. And her excuse? A petrol station oversight.
Come on.
Nobody believes that. Not in a murder investigation. You don't just forget where you were when a body was being found. Christina has this nervous, erratic energy. People call her a lunatic, and maybe that's her biggest strength. She operates on impulse. But underneath that crazy persona, I think she's much more calculated. Maybe she's using that wild card reputation as a shield. If everyone thinks you're just a bit scattered, they won't take you seriously as a threat. But she was in Hyde for a reason. What was she doing there? Is she just desperate for attention, or is she hiding something much bigger? And let's not forget Danielle. Tracy Barlow, who is basically the street's unofficial detective of human misery, noticed something. Danielle paid for the funeral flowers.
Why?
Since when does anyone in Weatherfield spend money without a reason? And Ryan saw her at the scene that night. Danielle is the mercenary here. Everyone else has these big emotional motives: revenge, fear, love. But Danielle? She might just be after the life insurance money. It turns this whole Murder Week drama into something grimy and opportunistic. But I have a feeling she's a red herring. It feels a bit too easy, doesn't it? The evil woman after the money is a classic trope. I think she probably saw something, and she's trying to stay off the radar by pointing the finger at Todd. It's a classic defensive move. The best way to hide is to make someone else look guilty. Then there's Todd himself. He's drowning in guilt. He's the one who asked Gary Windass to warn off Theo. Gary says he only smashed up the van, but Todd is keeping that secret from the police.
Why?
Because he knows his own dark side is showing. He feels responsible for Summer's arrest because he's the one who brought Theo into their lives. Moving in with Sarah Platt feels like a desperate move to find a safe harbor while his whole life is sinking. He's trying to play the protector, but he's the one who left the door open for the wolf. He's making all the wrong moves. Moving in with Sarah is going to blow up in his face. And keeping secrets for Gary? That's a ticking time bomb. I get that he's in pain, but his refusal to be honest is the reason Summer is in that cell right now. He's trying to physically distance himself from the trauma, But you can't run away from a murder investigation. So, where does this leave us? The tension is hitting a breaking point. Summer is being denied bail, which means our golden girl is going to have to learn how to survive in prison. That is a terrifying thought. It's a ticking clock for her mental health. And the rift between the families? It's tearing the whole street apart. The police are starting to find the holes in everyone's stories. D.S. Swain is smart. She's not going to fall for Christina's petrol station story forever. And when Kit Green comes back, that's when the real fireworks will start. We are on a collision course. The truth isn't just going to set Summer free. It's probably going to destroy half the people on the street, and I have a prediction for you. I think that witness Summer is starting to remember is going to be the key. But it won't be a simple happy ending. If that witness proves Tyrone was there, then Tyrone is going to have to explain his lie. And that leads right back to the garage and Carl Webster. Tyrone could go from the street's hero to its biggest villain in a single hour of television. And what about the actual killer? I'm starting to think it wasn't just one person. The producer mentioned that this story involves so many character groups. Could it be a joint effort? Maybe one person started the fight and someone else finished it. Imagine a trail of collective guilt that haunts everyone for years. That's the kind of dark storytelling that stays with you. Summer won't be the same when she gets out. How could she be? This arrest has stripped away everything she believed in. She's learned that the people she loves will lie to the cops and the people she trusts will betray her. That changes you. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a much darker, more cynical Summer Spellman in the future. She's seen the ugly side of the cobbles now, and there's no going back from that. It's like her DNA has been rewritten by this whole experience. But honestly, I want to know what you think. Who do you think is the bigger betrayer here? Is it George for reporting Summer, or is it Tyrone for lying about her alibi? Both of them claim they had their reasons, but Summer is the one paying the price. Let's really get into it in the comments. I want to hear your theories. And do you think it's possible that Summer actually did it? Could her panic just be a really good act? She did try to hire a hitman after all. Maybe she decided to just handle it herself. Give me your dark Summer theories below. I read every single one of them. This Theo Silverton mystery is one of the most complex things Coronation Street has ever done. It's not just about who pulled the trigger or whatever killed him. It's about who these characters are becoming. It's a deep dive into the shadows of the street. If you want to stay on top of every flashback and every shock arrest, you have to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be breaking down every single episode of Murder Week and everything that follows. If you liked this deep dive, give the video a like. It really helps the channel out and lets me keep making these videos for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the comments. Let's figure out who really has blood on their hands. Seriously, think about the position Tyrone is in. He's always been the moral center of his family, but now he's trapped. If he tells the truth about seeing Theo, he has to explain why he was out and about at that exact time. And if he was at the garage and if he did something to Carl, well, that's it for him, isn't it? The nice guy image is gone forever. It's such a clever bit of writing because it puts the audience in this weird spot. We want Summer to be free, but do we want Tyrone to go to jail? It's a lose-lose situation. And that's what makes good drama. It's not about easy choices. It's about the impossible ones. And what about Christina? The more I think about her, the more she worries me. She's so flighty and erratic, but is that just a mask? Maybe she's the one who really had it out for Theo. We know he was a monster. Maybe she saw what he was doing to Todd and decided to take matters into her own hands. The NPR logs putting her in hide is such a specific detail. What is in hide? Is there a piece of evidence hidden there? Or maybe another witness? It feels like a breadcrumb trail that the police haven't fully followed yet. But you can bet we will. Then there's the Gary Windass factor. Gary is no stranger to getting rid of people. Todd asked him to warn Theo off. Gary says he just smashed the van. Do we believe him? Gary has a history of taking things a step too far. If he saw Theo being psychotic toward Summer, would he have just walked away? Or would his protective instincts have kicked in? Todd is protecting Gary, but is Gary protecting Todd? It's a circle of secrets that is bound to break eventually. You can't keep that many people quiet forever. Eventually, someone is going to crack. I also keep coming back to that flashback of Summer leaving the flat. She looked terrified. She looked like she just escaped a nightmare.
But she also had that brooch.
Why was it covered in blood? If she didn't kill him, how did his blood get on her jewelry? Was it from the struggle she described? Or did someone plan it on her? If someone wanted to frame Summer, she's the perfect candidate. She's young, she's vulnerable, and she had a clear motive. Framing her would be the smartest move for the real killer. It takes all the heat off everyone else. But then there's the insurance money. Danielle is so focused on it. It's almost like she's already spent it in her head. Chasing money in the wake of a murder is always a huge red flag. Is she just greedy, or is she desperate? Maybe she needed that money to cover up another crime. Or maybe she's working with someone else. Could she and Christina be in it together? It sounds crazy, but in Weatherfield, nothing is off the table. The Murder Week episodes showed us that everyone has a dark side. Everyone has a reason to want Theo gone. I really wonder how Billy is going to handle all of this. His daughter figure is in jail for murder, and his partner's ex is the victim. It's a theological and emotional nightmare. Billy has always tried to be the peacemaker, but how do you make peace with this? His world is literally crumbling.
And Paul?
He's dealing with so much already. This is the last thing that family needs. It feels like the writers are just piling tragedy on top of tragedy for the Spellman Grimshaw clan. It's hard to watch, but you also can't turn away. What about the wedding? Carla and Lisa's big day was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it's become the backdrop for a murder. It's so ironic. The day they were supposed to start their lives together is the day someone else's life ended. And Betsy finding the body? That's going to haunt that girl forever. She's already a bit troubled, and this isn't going to help. It feels like this murder is a stone thrown into a pond, and the ripples are hitting every single person on the street. No one is getting out of this clean. I'm also keeping an eye on Roy Cropper. He's been through his own legal hell recently with the fire and the suspicion that followed him. He knows what it's like to be an innocent person accused of something terrible. I wonder if he'll be the one to eventually talk some sense into the people lying. Roy has a way of cutting through the nonsense. But right now, everyone is so caught up in their own fear that I don't know if they'll listen even to someone as wise as Roy. The next few weeks are going to be huge. We're going to get more flashbacks. We're going to see more of what happened in those missing hours. Every little detail is going to matter. The smashed phone, the van, the brooch, the ANPR logs. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and we're still missing the most important pieces. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? Trying to piece it together before the show does. It's why we love Corey. It takes these characters we've known for years and puts them in these impossible, high-stakes situations. So let's talk about the absolute chaos happening on the cobbles right now, because honestly, my head is still spinning. We've always seen Summer Spellman as this golden girl, right? She's the one with the grades, the big future, and that heavy conscience that usually keeps her on the straight and narrow. But then we hear that sound. You know the one. That cold, metallic click of handcuffs closing around her wrists. It's a sound that changes everything for a character. And as she's being led away, a really dark question starts to bubble up for all of us watching at home. Is this just a massive setup that's going to ruin a young girl's life? Or has all the trauma she's dealt with finally pushed her over the edge? Was this just a huge mistake by a girl who was backed into a corner? Or are we actually watching the birth of a brand new Weatherfield villain? It's a lot to process, isn't it? The streets of Weatherfield are literally stained right now with the fallout from Theo Silverton's death. And the police? Well, they've officially made their move. This wasn't some slow burn investigation that took months. In a twist that has basically left the entire fandom screaming at their TV screens, Summer has been charged with murder.
And it gets worse.
She's been denied bail. That means she's looking at a life behind bars before she's even had a chance to really live. This isn't your average soap opera arrest. This is the big payoff for Murder Week. Remember how the show did that? They showed us the same day 5 different times through the eyes of 5 different suspects. It was intense. But now we have to ask, did the police actually find the killer? Or did they just find the easiest target? The authorities didn't just pick Summer's name out of a hat, though. They've got evidence. There's that blood-stained brooch found at the scene. And then there's the tip-off. Someone she thought was family actually went to the cops. The evidence is piling up like a storm cloud over the garage and the funeral parlor. But if you really look at the web of lies being spun here,